Yep, that's right. I turned 9 out of 10 potential clients for my digital marketing agency away last month. And you're probably thinking, are you nuts? Why would you do that? Well, there's a number of reasons, and I'm going to cover those right now. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Mike Mancini, a digital marketing agency owner for the last 10 years. Now, just stick with me for a second. I'm going to give you the exact reason why I turned 9 out of 10 of those potential clients away. You see, back in 2018, I wasn't happy with the size of my agency. I wasn't happy with how it was running. I was working way too hard for not enough money, and I was constantly on that client hamster wheel, so to speak, where I would lose a client and I would go get a client. I would lose a client, I would get a client. I was not making any progress in the size of my agency. So I decided to double down and literally just do client outreach for however long it took to double my agency. Now, believe it or not, I was actually able to double my agency in 45 days. Now you may say, well, that's awesome. Now you got it to where you want it. Not exactly. Because of the type of clients that I brought on, I literally was almost back where I started within 6 to 8 months, back on that client hamster wheel. Why? Because I didn't select the right type of client. And you might wonder, well, why does it matter if they're the right fit or not if they have money to spend? Because believe me, if you spend all of your time dealing with the wrong types of clients, you might as well start over right now. And just to prove my point, as of right now, more than 60% of my clients have been with me for 4 years or longer. And that's not a lie. Some of my clients have actually been with me for 9 and even 10 years. And that 60% number would actually be much higher if I would have simply taken on the right clients in the first place. So here are a number of reasons why you might turn clients away. First, they weren't in the right industry. We specialize in Google Ads for home service businesses. We've broken away from that past. We've done B2B advertising and some other things. However, we found our niche and what we really enjoy is in the home service industry. When we get outside of that, it may be something that's a little farther from our skill set. It doesn't work the same way for whatever reason. We got outside of our industry and we were taking on everything from e-commerce clients to B2B clients and others. We're successful because of our niche. We're not really niche down and saying we're only going to deal with pest control companies or electricians. However, we are niche down to home services. That is what we're good at, and that's what we needed to stick with. Next, they were price shopping. I literally had one of these 10 clients on the phone with me, and all he did was ask about price. Now, price is a big factor of if someone wants to hire you. However, before he even gave me information, he wanted the price. Like, I wanted to know how many campaigns he wanted us to run, how much he was going to be spending, because that will determine ultimately how much he's going to get charged. It takes us more work to run a campaign spending $30,000 a month than it does a campaign that's spending $1,500. And all he cared about was price. He was simply price shopping. Next, I didn't see them becoming the right fit. When I take on a new client, I ask myself, do I see myself working with this person in 2 years? If they're difficult on the phone during the sales process, they're going to be even more difficult when they're giving you money every single month. The minute I see that happening, the conversation's over. I want clients who want to work with me for long term. And I tell them that up front. I say, I'm not looking, for your business 2 months from now. I'm looking for your business 2 years from now. So this needs to seem like the right fit for you as well as for me. Next, they were startups. I tell people this all the time. I truly do believe that you should have to take 3 or 4 marketing classes before you ever start a business. A lot of people build businesses, and I've seen it because we've worked with almost 1,000 clients, but I see a lot of people who will start a business and they don't have any money or any expertise for marketing. You don't just build a business and people will flock to it. You need to bring that awareness out to people and let them know that you're there and what you do. A lot of startups that we've seen in the past don't even have marketing budgets set aside. Maybe they put a business plan together, but none of it was set aside for marketing. These people are literally living penny to penny just trying to feed themselves. So if they're going to run out of money in the next 30 to 60 days before your campaign really gets rolling well, then it's probably not going to be a good fit for you or for them. Next, they weren't ready for what we do, which is Google Ads. They just weren't ready for it. One example was the home service company was contacting us because they were like, we want more leads. And I'm like, great, how booked are you? And they're like, we're completely slammed right now, but we're looking for 6 months down the road. And my conversation with them was, why are you looking for more work if you can't handle it? If I was to drive clients to you and you're literally turning them away or pushing them out 3 months and they're falling off because you can't get to them soon enough, that's not going to be good for you, your reputation, or for them. So my conversation with them was, unless you're ready to hire somebody to help you with that work, it's probably best not to run Google Ads right now. Next, they just couldn't afford it. We have people contact us all the time who just think that a few $100s is all you need. The problem with that is it's very difficult to run an ad spend of $300. $300 doesn't even cover our management fees. We need money to spend to get their campaign successful. You know, when I got started back in 2013, I had a couple of clients who are still with me to this day who started out spending $500 a month. In certain industries, we could get away with it back then because the clicks were much cheaper. However, in 2023, that's just not the case anymore. They needed to have a marketing budget set aside, not only to help pay us, because I'm not going to do that work for free, but so that they can build their business and grow their business. A marketing budget just wasn't on their radar. Next, unreasonable expectations or timelines. One particular client had said to me that they wanted to get the campaign set up and back the money truck up. Their expectations were completely unreasonable. These campaigns take time to get dialed in and running really well. That doesn't mean that that business isn't going to be bringing in leads, but we need to set them up for a 60 to 90 day period while we dial everything in and get it running optimally. They thought that they were going to flip the switch and literally back the money truck up, and they were going to have as much business that they could handle, and they were going to become millionaires. In my experience, that definitely is not the type of client that we want, because if we don't fill those expectations within the first 30 days, they're going to be gone. Next, just unethical practices. I literally had a client call me once, and he really wanted to work with me. In fact, he was adamant that we should work together. And I thought I was going to end up working with him, but I needed to take some time. So I said, let me get back to you tomorrow and we'll have a quick conversation. I ended up going and checking him out online, and the guy was literally under indictment. He was probably going to be arrested for shady business practices. And obviously, that is not a client. He can't pay me from jail, but that's obviously not a client that I want to work with. Next, businesses that go against Google's terms of service. I had a gun shop owner call me up and ask if I could do some Google ads for him, and I just flat out told him right away, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Advertising things like guns on Google go against their best practices, and they won't let you do it. So nothing really that we could do there. Another one is poor communication or lack of a timely response. I had a potential client contact me, and the conversation went for about 4 weeks. Now that wasn't the problem, but the problem is when I was talking to them on a sales call, they asked me a bunch of questions, and then essentially what they did over the next 4 weeks was every couple of days they kept telling me in an email how busy they were, but they would ask me another question. The problem was they'd already asked me those questions, and it was the same questions over and over and over again. And it got me to the point where I knew that this business owner was probably not somebody I wanted to work with. If I need to make changes or I have questions about a campaign, I need them to get back to me in a timely manner. Sometimes these emails would go 3, 4, 5 days in between when it was just a simple response. If that campaign is spending money and I have to wait a week or two to get a response from a client, I can't make the changes that are going to make that campaign successful. And I will end up getting to the point where I either have to quit or I get fired from the client. And lastly, and probably the biggest reason why I turn away clients is right now, I simply don't need them. I get my agency to a point where I have a certain number of clients. I'm happy with the size of the business. I can manage that business in about 90 minutes a day, and that is 100% true. But it's also the point where I had my agency much, much larger, and I realized I didn't want to hire a bunch more people. I already have employees. I didn't want any more, and I was going to have to hire a bunch more people to handle this. I've been very good with my money. I've put it away. I don't need $1 million a year business, nor do I want that. That is a personal preference. Could I have it? Absolutely. I could scale it there very, very quickly if I decided that's what I wanted. I enjoy the size of my agency. I enjoy being able to do a lot of other things besides work, and I also enjoy the structure of my business. Now, I know what you're thinking. After all these reasons, you're going, oh my God, if he turns everybody away for these reasons, how am I personally going to ever get a client? And I feel that. I truly do. It was really hard when I got started to turn away business. And I didn't. And I found out that those clients were the ones that sucked up 80% of my time. I am on the constant hunt for that perfect client. That client who's going to be with me 2, 3, 4, 5 years. In fact, maybe they're in the wrong industry and it's something we don't want to work on. I will actually refer them to other agencies that we have a partnership agreement on, so I might get a fee. But in my agency, I want the right client who is the right fit for not only me, but for them as well. And I want it to be a perfect client. And I want it to be a client who's going to be with me for a long time. While I realize that that is not the situation for every agency or every agency owner, it's the best fit for me. So if you ever turn clients away, let me know down in the comment section below. I would really love to hear some of the responses that you guys come up with. And if you would like to learn more about how I run my agency, how I started it, how I run it to this day, down in the description area below, you'll see a link to my agency course called Ads Agency Unlocked. It's more than 100 videos walking you through everything that I've done up to this point and everything I do on a daily basis. And if you're interested in a Google Ads agency, our course also includes more than 35 videos on how we set up, run, and optimize our Google Ads campaigns for our clients. Take a look at that. There's a link in the description area below. And if you like this video, please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It really helps us in the eyes of YouTube. Hit subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you'll be notified of when I release new videos each and every week. And over to the right-hand side, you'll see some more related videos about how we run our digital marketing agency. Thanks so very much for watching. I do always greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.